Hi, and welcome to day 19 of the Elo New Light Activation Program. Today, I'm going to be talking about melting down. A lot of people are melting down, but I'm not addressing it from exactly that perspective. So what I want to do is just start by checking in, by a little meditation. So if you are able to close your eyes, I want to suggest that you do that, and I'll probably do the same. And I'd like you to just feel your body, notice your breath, and especially feel your breath as it moves in and out of your lungs, your nose, your mouth, and just listen deeply to your breathing, to where your breath goes. You'll feel it physically, but it might not be only something physical and logical, like maybe you'll feel that your breath is going down your left leg or up into the top of your head or whatever it might be. So just go with that. You want to listen, deep listening. I'll keep saying deep listening is the key. It's such a powerful key. Allow your body to relax into the chair or whatever you're sitting on. As you breathe, as you listen, listen to any sensations you might be feeling, the movement of air on your skin, the pressure of your chair up against your thighs, any energy or sensations, pleasant or even not, whatever's in your body, just notice it, just listen to it. Take a deep breath and just allow your body to settle in. Settle in. And as you're breathing, I'd like you to imagine that the molecules of your body have just a little more space between them. So feel into that space. Listen into that space. So focusing on the space in between the cells, in between the molecules, and even in between the atoms and the subatomic particles within your body. And if you like, around you as well. So just listen. You don't have to get this any certain way. There's no right, there's no wrong here. Just listening to the space. So we're listening to what's in between rather than what's showing up and manifesting in the physical realm. Let's just do that for a few moments. And if you like, you can imagine that you have tiny little antenna or satellite dish receivers on your nerves. In your whole nervous system. Picking up even deeper space. So listening for even deeper space. Space isn't just linear. Space goes deep, 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 deep. Into much, much deeper dimensions. And just continue to breathe. You can go as deep, listen as deep as you like. Or simply feel your breathing, listen to your breathing. When I say listen, I don't mean with your ears. I mean with your senses, with your awareness. So let's just stay in this space for a few moments, just listening. And now I want you to allow an awareness. We're not pushing. We're not projecting. We're simply allowing for an awareness of the deeper inner dimension of all of this space, which is Ein Od Milvado, which is divine consciousness, which is divine presence, which is God, the beloved, your beloved. So continue to listen and allow for the fact that inside of every one of your cells, every one of the molecules and atoms and subatomic particles that makes up your cells is divine consciousness and divine presence, the living presence of God. And since it's Elul, and this is what we're leaning into, the loving presence of God, living and loving. So just allow yourself to feel into that. Listen to that. Again, we're not projecting, we're not imaging, we're not pushing, we're simply listening. So if nothing wants to come into your consciousness, nothing is good. If something wants to come into your consciousness, into your awareness, just allow for that to happen. So again, we're going to have a few moments of silence, of space, just for the listening. Continue to breathe. Aware of your breath, aware of your sensations, aware of the space within and in between and all around. And how deep does it go? And if you're willing to open your heart to that love that's not only shining from outside of you, but that's shining from within you. Literally, God is flowing all around you and all within you. In all of those spaces, divine consciousness, divine presence, divine love, and divine power. See how deeply you can allow for it. And now I'm going to invite you to just relax a little bit deeper. And see if you can relax so much that it's like melting into a warm bath, a beautiful warm bath, or a beautiful warm lake, or a hot springs, whatever feels good. Continue to be aware of your breath, breathe deeply. You don't have to hold on to all the images that I'm suggesting here, but just allow for them. And in that very warm water, that loving, sparkling, embracing water in the lake or in the hot springs, in the bath, just invite all of the stuck and rigid aspects of you, all the traumas, the failures, the disappointments, the frustrations, the judgments, the sadnesses, allow them to melt, to be melted by to melt into that warm, sparkling, loving, nurturing water. So let's just take a few moments in this space with love, the love of the Creator outside of us and within us, to allow things to be melted. You're not doing anything. You're simply allowing. Allow yourself, if you're willing, to be gently melted down. Only the jagged edges. As those rigid, jagged edges melt, they merge with the space, with the water, and simply raise and expand the flow of your true authentic self. So let's hang here for a bit. Just being with whatever shows up. If you're not willing or if you're uncomfortable, see if you can allow that to melt down. Feel free to pray. Ask, align, and allow. The water is like a womb. It holds you safe. It's comforting. It's nurturing. It's literally divine love, divine presence, divine support, divine power. So whatever you've got, just bring it into the water. Bring it into that watery space. Just allow it to melt as much as it will. And now we're just going to hold the space. I'm going to ask Hashem, God, to make himself even more visible and evident in the most loving, powerful, tangible, possible way within this space, flowing within you and around you in all dimensions, including the physical, melting any rigidity, any old traumas, any limiting beliefs, any sadness, guilt, shame, separateness, judgment. Hashem, I'm asking you to just help us so gently, so harmoniously melt that down. Melting it down into the essence of who we authentically are, like ice that melts into a warm, warm pool of water, raising the level of the water, expanding the flow, expanding the self, expanding the potential. Plus, plus. Now we're just going to be in a space of allowing. Feel free to speak to that divine consciousness, which is literally flowing within you. Every part of you, every dimension of you, right now. We'll just hold this space for about a minute, allowing the melting down. There's no pushing here. If you want, you can ask a question. inside your mind. And just allow for the answer, maybe now, maybe later, maybe through some divine providence. If you ask the question, Hashem is going to find a way to answer you. So be on the lookout for that. And just make space for the warmth of the water, the pleasure of just being and allowing. Nowhere to go at this moment. Nothing you have to do. Just allow the melting down. And if your heart feels like opening and expressing something to Hashem, let that happen. Let's make sure everything's on flow. So if your heart is speaking, let it be open and on flow. Flowing out from the depths of your inner heart into the water, into the space, into the divine love. If you have aches or pains, again, the word sadness keeps coming up. So if you have sadness, shame, fear, just allow it to flow out into the water. Feel your heart opening like a flower, like a rose. Level after level, opening, opening. And the deep depths flowing outward into that warm, 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 loving space. Ask Hashem to help with the melting, the gentle melting, like the sun when it comes out and melts the winter ice and snow. I used to live in a suburb of Minnesota by the woods, by a lake, on a lake, and at the bottom of a hill. And when the foot of ice and snow would start to melt in the spring, it would run down the hill, the water sparkling, so alive. Oh my gosh, running underneath the ice and melting the ice. So if that image appeals, let that be part of your meltdown here. You're melting down. You're melting open. You're melting up. And just spend another minute or so just breathing and allowing. There isn't anything about you that's in the way of this process, because no matter what you have going on, you can just invite Hashem, divine love, divine power, divine consciousness, divine presence, just to gently melt it. We're not looking for any particular outcome. We're going way deeper than that. We're allowing for divine renewal, for the waters of spring to open new growth, healing, wonder, joy, sparkle, magnificence, union, renewal, nurturance, magic, deep beauty, authenticity, aliveness, flow, divine love, divine presence, divine consciousness, and authentic divine power, plus whatever else you open to and ask for now. So we'll have that moment, that minute of space and allowing melting and reforming renewal starting now. All right. Take a few moments to open your eyes. If you have any little bits and pieces you'd like to complete, or prayers you'd like to add from your heart. The energy here, this is actually a mini matrix. I didn't know this was where we're going, but this is where we went. So the energy remains here, and you can come back to it whenever you want. You can share it with your friends. This is a portal now to what we've drawn down and drawn in. So feel free to revisit and to allow the meltdown and the renewal and the magic to really, really, really take hold. Okay, see you tomorrow. Much love.